Ed from Pinball Mayhem here. Want to show you just how I fix this problem when the cabinet starts falling apart on the bottom. So it's actually not that hard of a fix. I used to try to figure out how to take it apart or whatnot. I actually at one time had to build a router jig so I can actually clean this off. So the first step is we want to remove this entire stretch. And that includes both these layers that are delaminated here, all the way over to the end on this piece. And then I have some pre-cut hardwood that will go in. And I will cut this to length and notch it in to fit the sides, do a few trial and errors. The first step is to clean it with a chisel. So I got here just a standard construction chisel. It's been sharpened. So I'm going to actually, I'm not going to do this one hand because I don't want to ruin this up, but by using the chisel, I'm going to remove all this wood. It should pop off easily because it did already. This is a real good tool. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use it as flat as possible. Just make sure I got a good clean edge. So I'm going to clean that up and remove that all, and I'll be back. All right, I am back and ready to go. So I took this couple tips on fitting this. I made a little mark that says T facing out. I know which letter it is. I know it's not the top, it's the front. But just making a mark, a letter, or something that allows you to position this as you're cutting it down. So tools I used to get this to fit. I used just a little hobby miter saw. I used a utility knife. I used my chisel and a pencil and a good file. So what I did is I marked this once I got it cut to length at the end of the tongue. I marked it by making sure my mark was where it needed to be, top and front. Slid it in, I marked it on the end, the top. I cut down this way with my hobby saw until I was close to the line, but not quite there. And I used my utility knife. This is all on the workbench, not in the game. And I cut in, or that way, to clear the wood away, and then I finished it with the file. And finished fitting with the file allows me to keep on fitting. It took me 15 minutes, 20 minutes to fit this board. And after it was cut to length, I just kind of kept filing, fit. I did one side first, made sure that was nice and flush the way I liked it. Then I started leaving that side in and worked on the other side. Now this fits very, very tight, where once I put it in there and fit it, I barely got it out. So next step is I'm going to glue this. So what I need is paper towel, water, and glue. I got a couple boards. Never clamp directly to your finish surface. Always put a scavenge board or something in front of it, something that's clean. Got a couple of those clamps. That's gonna get me started. All right, almost done. It's glued and clamped. I used my paper towel, damped in the water, and kept wiping this. Now these are what we call parallel clamps. I love them. They give more force than these quick clamps will ever get. But that's what I ended up having. I did the parallel clamps. Now the tighter you get everything, the stronger the joint's gonna be. So I got this super tight, the tongue and the ends. I made sure it was super tight because I want this to be strong. I wanted to add strength to the pinball machine rather than detract. So this is a good thing. Now when I put the glue on here, luckily this separated well and I had a pretty clean surface. That's what the chisel is for, to clean that up. I put the glue on the top of this board, in the tongue. I squished it into here, squished it in there. I put a little bit on the top and then wiped it with my finger. You got some time to work with it. That's the advantage, but you only have a certain amount of time. So when you're gluing, can't take a phone call, can't distract it. You may need someone's handy to hand you water or whatever, because if you mess around with this for a half hour, you will be sorry. It won't go together well and you'll ruin your project. But with that said, it's a very rewarding, easy fix. One thing is I did not put glue on the inside, the side that goes against this board here. That board is supposed to be more floating. If a little glue seeps in there, not a big deal, but it's not meant, if you look around the edges here, that's not glue. It's not meant to be soaked with glue. Now this little lip here, that's not a big deal to me. I will probably take a belt sander or something and try to take off this high spot, but I'm not going to make it level with the game. A little bit of lip for it to rest on new wood is not a bad thing. I'll just take a sander in here and take this down after it dries. Take me about 5-10 minutes. But that is the repair as it is for today. I'm going to let this sit for 24 hours at least. Especially if there's some tension on it and you have a thicker joint. This is kind of thicker. If you're laminating even thicker boards, if you don't need it tomorrow, give another extra day. But 24 hours is what they recommend. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe.